afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to this beautiful Saturday day of August the 30th, 2025. It is 4:14 p.m. I hope that everybody is doing great. Happy Saturday day to everyone. In today's video, I want to do a watch woman report, and I want to title this, It's Time to Pay Attention and Don't Fall Asleep. I have been watching, but at the same time that I am watching and observing, I am also conducting my own research, because there's a lot of things that are making sense to me. Nonetheless, I'm on a different path than everyone else. It really shows, and I can no longer deny that people are being targeted, and I can no longer deny that we are up for something major. It started for me when I remember back in 2021 when I told you guys about Raul Maldonado and about the whole thing that came out, that during the 2019, where I told you guys in between 2020 and 2021 that this cabinet, the governmental cabinet, all right, according to Mr. Maldonado, was dirty, and that the current governor, which was Wanda Vasquez, she was dirty. At that point, when I heard that, I understood that there's a reason why he's saying this. So then we go back to when she was the Secretary of State, or the Secretary of, the police, or whatever the position that she was holding that had to do with investigating case. Okay, nonetheless, the Kevin Fred case was one of those cases that she was, in charge of investigating at that time. And we already know what happened with that case. If you don't know anything about the case of Kevin Fred, and you don't know anything about what transpired and the connection that there was with the late, singer Osuna, then you need to do your research. So once you do your research on that, you will start to see a pattern being formed when it comes to our, late governor, Mrs. Vasquez. Nonetheless, I do have to say one thing. This is why I extremely encourage people to do their homework when it comes to these particular people. Because if you don't, you are going to be deceived. Because in reality, in my eyes, most of the things that she did during the, pandemic, okay, was trying to, follow the protocols. And I understand that she is subjected to those protocols. But I also saw and felt the simple fact that she wasn't all there with the majority of them. So, in a way, I felt the human side of her. And I have to admit, I really fancy the woman. Not because she represented anything, but because she was the second female to hold that position. And the first female that held that government position was a spotless woman. So I saw her on the same level, only to find out that she wasn't. Okay, but it proves to me what I've been saying. You cannot fancy these people because in reality you do not know what goes on behind. You only know what is being shown to you. Not only that, it is been done over and over again. They come in with a mentality to help and make a change, but somewhere along the line they forget that objective and they follow the narrative. I've seen this too many times in my 52 years. This is why I can't vote. This is why I can't give these people my trust, because it is a sham. Bottom line, it's the same way I feel about protesting. I want to share this because this is how I truly feel. If you want to protest against the government, that means that you are protesting against laws. You are not protesting against people. You're protesting against laws. Nonetheless, laws are made by Senate, Congress, the Capitol. Those are the places that you should be protesting. If you are protesting police brutality, you are going to protest in front of a police station that is committing the atrocities, not take over the streets and everybody that is trying to go about their way, you going to attack and you going to be aggressive too. That is not a protest. What I am looking at is not a protest. It's a selected group of people that are fed up with the system and they are tired and they want to involve everybody and they want to voice their opinion, but they want to incite violence. And then they want to play victim. It's a double-edged sword. I don't understand this mentality. I don't understand the voting mentality either, because it hasn't changed nothing. I went from let's make America great again back in the 80s with Reagan and the war on drugs and Russia communism. We're gonna end communism. Now we are with Make America Great Again, back with Russia, alright? And nothing has changed. We got worse the amount of drugs in the street that we did back in the 80s. So you tell me if I'm delusional, because I haven't seen any change. The change has come from people not to involve themselves in that and try to live a productive life. You cannot continue to feed the machine that creates the problem, ushers in, and then waits for people to rise to the occasion. And because people are not rising to the occasion, somebody has to switch. And now they're going to be turning people on. But nobody sees that. So then I started to do a little research and I started to say, hold on one second. Because I'm not crazy and I can't make this stuff up. We are being shown two sets of people that are committing atrocities against other people, including children. Nonetheless, and some of them get caught and stand trial, and some of them unalive themselves and leave more questions than answers. Let's observe this for one moment, because in reality, when you take a look at the work of Mr. Alfred Bielek, you're going to see, and I'm going to put that as my Exhibit A. He's talking about the Montauk Boys Project, which the majority of us never have heard none of this, because it has been overshadowed by other things. Nonetheless, when I hear the word Montauk, automatically what comes to my mind is experiments on a genetic level with animals and the crossbreeding of the species, not to mention the evidence that have washed up in the shores of where this particular facility is located. Nonetheless, they are atrocities and they look like some type of Frankenstein experiment. It's no coincidence that he goes on to say that the ages that require this program, okay, to run, quote unquote, successfully, is the ages between 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. 17 being the age where, you're already too old for the program. The program involves, the tapping on an MK Ultra level of the subconscious, creating what more or less have been shown to us in the Manchurian Candidate movie. Nonetheless, it's programming. Alright, and most of these people that have been programmed, alright, have a extermination switch. This could explain the unalive. Nonetheless, these particular people, he is telling you, that commit unalive is because they do not want anybody to get a hands on them. So they are, exterminated, basically. This is a program, and not only is this program being brought forth to us, as we're going to start with our first date of 8/27/2025, and it was brought to us, and not only that, it comes with a label, because now they want you to feel sorry for this particular population, when we know that this is torture. Nonetheless, I am not going to touch this subject because this is depravity, alright? And this is torture, not only to the body but to the soul, alright? Just as mental illnesses are actually attributed to depression and demonic entities. Nonetheless, they're never going to tell you that, you have the capability of changing your environment and getting better. But no, they're going to give you a pill, because the world works with pills. Because they want you to disassociate yourself. They don't want you connected to nothing. They just want you to go around and play around and to do nothing. And then when things hit the roof, you're not going to know what hit you. The enemy is creating zombies in a unique way, where everybody is either on drugs, on the street, under chaos, under suffering, but nobody is taking initiative and saying, you know what, let me get out of here, let me start walking, let me find something better. No, we're stuck. We're stuck in a circle of repetition, and we can no longer deny that that's exactly what we're looking at. We are looking at people being mentally exhausted, and when you exhaust a people up to the point that you're pushing them against the wall, it's only a matter of time before those people start fighting back. And it's not going to be talking. It's going to be brutal and violent. Nonetheless, I saw this, but there was a brutal case that just happened here with a mother and a daughter, and then another mother and two daughters, and one person ended up dead. So when I saw that, and they they started to talk about the perpetrators, the mother and the daughter duo, the perpetrators. I started to notice, hold on one second. This guy is talking about a generation between the ages of 13 and 17. Okay? But this guy is talking about people that have been programmed. But then we got the soulless that have been bred by people that are soulless and or come from this particular background of abuse. Nonetheless, the mother, her age or her time is 83 to 85. This is the parents' time. The children are between the ages of 13 and 17 years old. But these are the children of this particular generation, 83 to 85. This is the generation that came after Generation X, which is my generation. Alluring that either this generation is completely, been replaced, or this is the defective generation by which we got the psychopathic generation, which is creating the problems. Nonetheless, brings me to the movie Early Warning. In the movie Early Warning, at the beginning of the movie, 1981 Early Warning, at the beginning of the movie, it gives you a bunch of headlines. And it's telling you that a 5-year-old is being convicted of a heinous crime and is being sentenced to life in jail. Yet, we are this 17-year-old girl stabbed 8 times this other girl, and they are saying that they're going to try her as an adult, but they're questioning whether they should expose her. So they want to protect her identity because she's a minor, but they want to charge her as an adult. I am telling you right now, fiction is imitating life, and it's doing it backwards. But nobody will ever believe it. But when you listen to this man, you start to see that these people that unalive themselves after doing this, these are programs. These are what Tony Dice was talking about, the super soldiers, the sleeping cells. This is what it is. These people are being activated, and these people are going to go against people. We've seen this before. Too many times. The same exact calling card. Take them all and put them side by side with each other, and you're going to see the same exact calling card. Military background, their parents, age range, and their generation goes back and can be traced between 1983 and 1985. These people are either in their late 30s, early 40s. Nonetheless, they got some ties to the alphabet letters. And their children, their children that went to special camps, special this, special that, prominent. They may not have money, middle class, okay, well established, good backgrounds, good houses. They don't come from the ghetto, but they hoard all this hatred for mankind and for humanity and for other people, and they want to destroy. This is what they do. And then after they do their mission, as he tells you, they unalive themselves because they have a destructive switch, because it's a program. It's a program that is meant to self-destruct, which is how would it explain why when they go on ramp, they're telling you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it this day, and you see a level of preparedness that is characterized with serial killers, but they're not serial killers. Because they do a mission. This is what is a mission, what they consider a mission. And then they have different missions, but they know that these other missions, they're not going to accomplish them because they are going to self-destruct. But they're giving you the illusion that this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to continue to do this, but they do the first mission and then the switch goes off. They all got the same characteristics. Go back and look at it. All of them. All of them. Nonetheless, it's something that I have gotten knowledge on not only that, but as I have learned about what this program is about, which is no different than our MK Ultra. He goes on to talk about the Kundalini homosexual energy and how they can control it to manifest the consciousness that they want. So that means that this homosexual agenda that we're looking at is not really what is being presented to us, but it serves a darker plan behind the scenes, which is why they do it, which would explain a lot. Because the people that we are talking about, okay, at the top, which are the ones orchestrating all the and pulling all the puppets and the strings, they're not human. No shape or form can you be at this level not to do all these atrocities. Nonetheless, I want to talk about the numbers behind World War I, and I want to let you know that it started with number 13, because 7/28/1914 equals 44. 44 is an 8. If you narrow it down, it gives you 7, 10, and 15, which will equal to 14, which would give you a 5. 8 and 5 is 13. So this is the spirit behind this war. But we already know that the only person that ushers war is the enemy. And we know that his children profit from it. And there's money to be made in wars. But war sequesters the soul of men into shedding blood. Therefore, this is a blood pact, if you really want to think about it. Because you're shedding blood. So it's blood for blood. Often, there's no return from this. Nonetheless, the spirit behind this, okay, is number 13, which is apostasy, depravity, and rebellion. But we already know what they did in World War I. And, you can't make it up. It's exactly what it is. Apostasy, depravity, and rebellion. When we look at World War II, it gives you a number 10, which is testimony, law, and responsibility, which is exactly what, brought Hitler to power. The testimony, the law, and the responsibility to carry with the heinous things that he was doing behind the scenes following number 13, which he was subjected to. Nonetheless, all of these men, okay, lost their essence, their soul, their morality in the process of winning wars, power, control. This is how the enemy gets you. We already know that. This should not be new. When I look at what we are expecting, World War III, we are looking at, since it hasn't happened, okay, we are looking at something that is not going to be the same thing that happened on 1 and 2. Because when you look at these numbers, first of all, the W represents 23, and you have a double. So you got 23 because it's WW. So that gives you a 46. That brings forth number 10, testimony, law, and responsibility. We can confirm that number with the numbers of World War II. Okay? 9/1/1939 gives you a 32, which is a 5. 9/1 and 22, which brings down the 4, which 2 plus 2 is 4, which gives you a 14, which is another 5, which 5 plus 5 is 10. That's it, basically. Nonetheless, they did something. We know what they did. And we know that, numbers don't lie. So we know that there's a lot of fabrication. And we know that they, after this, we know that a couple of years after this, in 1948, the Israel, land came to birth and forth. It was their new beginning. Nonetheless, it can be confirmed. So, we got the 46. We got the 23, 46, that's the 10. And then we got the 3, 10 and 3 is 13. The same spirit. Nonetheless, 23 and 23 gives us 5 and 5, which confirms the number 10. So we have a 10, 10, and we have a 3. And we got a 10, 3, and 10, 3. So we have a double here. So it will be the double equivalent to 13, 13, which will give us the 26, which births the number 8, which is new beginning and a new birth. So we understand that this pertains to people. So we understand that World War III is not going to be a war fought between countries. It's going to be a war fought between people for the control of people. If at this moment you're not seeing yourself as a target, you need to understand that you are. Nonetheless, let's move on. Which brings me to 8/27/2025, which is when our sleeping cell woke up. Nonetheless, it gives us 2025, that's a 9. 27 is a 9, and we bring down the 8. We got the 8, 9, and the 9. That gives us a 26. Brings forth the 8. New birth and a new beginning. In this case, it didn't end very well, did it? I rest my case. So, that brings forth 9/1/2025, which gives us a 9, a 1, and a 9, which brings forth the 11, which is disorder and judgment. I highly caution you from engaging in absolutely anything that has to do with a lot of people grouping together. I highly caution you against involving yourself. Stay away from the crowds. Watch your surroundings. This is going to be a very dangerous September. I have never seen numbers like these. You are being warned. And I begin on September the 1st. The USA, you're next. It's your time. And you need to be watchful. Then we go to 9/7/2025. 9/7, 9 brings 25 forth, which brings the 7, that's a resurrection. Followed by the anniversary of the 9/11, which brings both the 18 on top of the 11. Disorder and judgment under bondage, which brings the 29, which 9 plus 2 is 11. We have an 11 here, if you really want to think about it. Because if you add 9 plus 11, it gives you 9, 10, and 11. So it gives you the 11 twice. So it's a double effect that we're going to be looking at. Spiritual and physical. What is moving is spiritual and physical. Which brings forth the 9/16/2025, which is the 9/7/9, where we seen that number before. On the blood moon of 9/7/2025, which brings forth 9/7/9, which brings forth the 25, which brings forth the 7, which is the resurrection. Well, over here on 9/16/2025, this is part and the beginning of the blackout movement that is going to come with 9/17, September 17 being the day where they're asking everyone to stay home, don't spend money, don't do this, don't do that. They're asking you to participate. I'm asking you to be cautioned because you're not into this. We are not to participate in this madness, okay? Nonetheless, stay away from groups. You are being warned. Not only that, this smells really bad. So I'm warning you. 9/16/2025, we got the 9/7/9. My friends, 9/7/2025, we got the same exact numbers. There's no coincidence here. This is not good. This is a double resurrection. much confusion right now. In our 88, I gotta remind you, what was the queen looking like before she passed away? Look at her hands. They were bruised. They were black. They were blue. You need to understand these are vessels. You need to understand that evil can only hold a vessel for so long before it starts rotting. What's happening here? Is he really sick? Or is the body taking a toll on the entity that's inside this individual? You need to figure that out. Because I'm looking at the same exact thing. So these are vessels. Nonetheless, he didn't come back as the same man from 2017. We're looking at something completely different. And something that, doesn't have no transparency. Because he's contradicting himself. And he's giving us hints that he's not the real one. He's talking as a second person. And he deadass said, her son. Hold on one second. You married to the woman, so that's your son too. So why are you talking like he's not your son? But when you read the book of Baron's, Little Adventure, and when you take a look at, Biff from, Back to the Future, he's married to a woman that he's been in love with for I don't know how long, but she has a son that doesn't belong to him, which is Marty. And we know this. So fiction is imitating life. And at this point, I gotta sound the alarm. Because this is creepy. This is creepy. Nonetheless, these two numbers, the day of the blood moon and the day of 9/16, these two numbers are matching, which allures that they are connected some way, somehow. Nonetheless, this got to do with people. And I'm telling you, people are about to be activated because somebody got the switch and it's in the wrong hands. So, the next day is 9/17/2025. That gives me a 989. That's the 26th. That brings forth the 8. Where we seen this number before? Oh yeah, our sleeping cell. 8/27/2025 gives us a 899, which gives us a 26, which brings forth the 8. So 9/17/2025, when it's the actual day when everybody's supposed to stay home and everybody's supposed to, boycott, whatever it is that they're doing, because I don't understand it. But it's not meant for me to understand because these people are soulless. They don't have a soul. So how the heck can you understand something that's empty? And it's doing things that make absolutely no sense. Real people are going to analyze things. This makes absolutely no sense. Somebody needs to explain it to me to make sense. But nobody has successfully been able to. Because it makes no sense. So, these numbers are 989. They're encompassed. They're in order. But these numbers of the waking of the sleeping cell are not. They're 8, 9, and 9. They're disorder. So, what are they about to do? Because these are the numbers of someone that murdered people and then unalive themselves. This is a program. Oh, most definitely. When you listen to this man, Alfred Bielek, you're going to start to recognize this is a program. This is a program. This individual is a program. So are they going to activate people? Because I'm telling you, what is coming has to do with people. And people are not acting right. People are not acting right. Something is happening to people. And people are no longer reasonable. You can no longer connect to these people. These people have lost something very important, and that is the ability to connect to other people. Their conversations are meaningless. They are paying attention to all the meaningless, and they want to continue no matter what, like if nothing is happening. And I am telling you, they are a problem. Nonetheless, their biggest problem is they don't have a soul. This is why they don't make sense to us. These numbers, with the exception of the anniversary, which is bringing forth a disorder and judgment, and being confirmed with Labor Day, September 1st, which is an 11, which is disorder and judgment, all of these numbers are confirming each other. And you need to explain to me, how is that even possible? No way. Our sleeping cell woke up on 8/27/2025. We're talking about a futuristic date of 9/17/2025 in the blackout movement. There's no way that we got the same exact numbers here. These numbers are in disarray. These numbers are in order. 9/7/2025, the blood moon. It coincides with 9/16/2025. 25/7, 25/7. Resurrection, resurrection. New birth and a new beginning. New birth and a new beginning. Disorder and judgment. Disorder and judgment. You tell me. Don't shoot, because in reality, this is what. Then I told you guys that the tattoo of the mark of the beast was not a chip. It had nothing to do with the chip, but it's a tattoo of ownership. And I brought forth my information, and I shared what I had to share, and we identified the symbols. No coincidence that there is a quantum dot tattoo that has the patent of 0606060, which is equivalent to the mark of the beast, and it brings forth number 18, which is bondage. This is a quantum dot tattoo, not a chip. Nonetheless, we need to understand what we're looking at for what we're looking at, because I am telling you, there's just no way to make this stuff up. There's so much happening. There's so much disorder. So I am going to have to rely on the numbers to be able to make sense of what's happening. Guys, stop! Because in reality, there's no way to make sense of this stuff unless you really understand what is being presented to you. Once you understand these people are soulless, this is why they can take a life and stand trial, alright? And these people are a program. This is why they can do their mission and then unalive themselves. Not only that, he goes into the notebook that they found from one of the scientists, if I'm not mistaken, where it tells you all the techniques. And these people that are on the programs, they always leave evidence behind, such as a notebook, such as videos, such as, Rosita, knock it off. Such as, things that, it's evident that they have, been able to, record everything, just like a diary. And then you learn that there's always some, connections to the occult. Like, it gets old after a while, playing the same card. But something disturbing is coming, and I would like to remind you guys that number 14, which stands for deliverance and salvation, always follows death. A new birth and a new beginning follows death, and resurrection follows death. Disorder and judgment follows death. You need to understand that, the conditions are ripe. And I want to end with this. What is moving in these, it started with Aaron. What is moving in Aaron and everything that is moving after him, I am telling you, is not normal, and it's almost like demons and principalities the shift in the air, and not only that, but the flickering of the lights, like it's announcing itself. I would like to remind you that Aaron passed 200 miles from the northern coast of the island, and it left 150 million people without power, and it just passed 200 miles away. So you need to ask yourself, what would have happened if that thing would have crossed us over? The weather is a manipulation. It's a weapon. But the machine running it is the least of our problems, because we got the principalities behind it, which are a lot worse. This is what people are capturing. They're there. I felt them. When Aaron was passing by, I felt it. My lights flicker on and off 11 times. And those winds felt like it was a category 1 and 2. And they were just the outer bands. The intense rain. It was just incredible to see. The low pressure, the Arctic wind, the flickering of the lights, the destabilization, the gloominess, and everything else, the uncertainty, and our pets reacting to it and being scared. Since when does our pets get scared of a storm? It's a storm. They should be used to it, especially if they're adults. Nonetheless, these guys were petrified. And I can sense that something was moving, especially when I saw my lights flickering on and off 11 times before they really shut off completely, which was very creepy. The Arctic air, it was just surreal, and I felt every inch of it. Not just that, my pets were like the first warning that what I was feeling, I was right on point, because they were scared. So I'm giving you a warning, heads up. I want everybody to stay safe. I want everyone to be safe. And I want you to pay attention. I don't want you to fall asleep. I want you to be vigilant. I don't want you to be scared. But I do want you to stay away from crowds. And stay away from places that you got no business being in, my friends. Be careful. Something is moving, and it ain't human. Take it for what it is. Until next time, everyone, take care. Much love from me to you all. I'll see you all soon. Have a beautiful Sabbath day, and Yah bless you always, my friends. Please, please stay safe. Take care, everyone.